We are now joined by Gilbert Doctorow, who is a Russian affairs expert. Gilbert, I'd like to look at the Kremlin statement and the words that have been used. If what Ukraine is doing is energy terrorism, what are the Russian strikes on the Ukrainian energy infrastructure?
The strikes on the Ukrainian infrastructure concern Ukraine. The Ukrainian strikes on the Russian infrastructure are concerning Europe. So there is something of a difference here. They're not balanced. And the Russians were addressing themselves really to the West Europeans to explain to them that they're not supporting with arms and money a country that is doing them as much economic harm as it can. They have already cut the pipelines which traverse Ukraine and which were supplying for decades Russian gas to Central Europe. Now they are not satisfied with that. They are attempting to destroy Russia's supply to Europe through the Turk Stream pipeline.
Gilbert, but the central, sorry to interrupt, but a lot of the Central European nations that are receiving this gas from Russia are supporting Ukraine. Do you not think those conversations would have been had diplomatically before the decision was made? And if so, is that solidarity with Europe and Ukraine? And does that sort of take the effect towards Russia as more of a sole effect?
Well, the countries that are receiving gas via the Russian pipelines which traversed Ukraine were three. They were Austria, Slovakia, and Hungary. How you want to categorize them, I think this is an arbitrary question. They are European Union members, and they were all harmed by the actions that Ukraine has taken. How can we further look at it? The attacks now on the Turk Stream are, the supplies going into the Turk Stream are reaching other parts of Europe, the Balkans in particular. And the point is here that the countries that are supposedly assisting Ukraine with U.S. urging are themselves being subjected to attacks by Ukraine on their economic interests. And this is a rather peculiar logic if you were a European country.
Thank you, Gilbert Doctorow, joining us from Brussels. We're now also joined by Glenn Grant, an ex-advisor to the Ukraine defence. He is joining us from Latvia. Glenn Grant, thank you very much for being here. Looking at the impact of the statements, do you think it will have an impact, if any, on the Ukrainian government? And do you think the sort of coalition that we're seeing between the US with their sanctions and Ukraine with their actions shows a strengthening of ties between the West and Ukraine?
I think it's quite a complex thing, and first of all, the words from Russia are nonsense, of course, because they've been attacking the Ukrainian energy sector, and it's not just harmed Ukraine, it's harmed others as well, because people have had to help pay for that. So the whole idea that one side is terrorism and the other side is okay is complete nonsense. And the fact of the matter is that the three countries that are involved, Hungary, Austria and Slovakia, are all pro-Russian countries. They've been given plenty of opportunity by the European Union to reassess how they get their energy and to get their energy from other people. And they haven't done so because they are trying to be in the Russian camp. So this should come as no surprise to them. They've had 3.5 years to change their energy infrastructure, and they've not done so because they support Russia. So I think that now is wake-up time for these people. They'll get no sympathy from anybody else in Europe, and the European Union is already pressurizing them to sort of wake up and grow up. So I think that you're going to see Ukraine is not going to change. Ukraine is going to keep hammering at the energy sector for Russia because it's got to cut the Russian money and it's got to cut the Russian energy, because that's how they will destroy the business infrastructure in Russia, which will bring them to the table.
Glenn Grant, we only have a couple of minutes, so just a very quick response to this one. Do you think that the actions by Ukraine and their allies, namely the US, in terms of these sanctions, do you think these might have an impact in a potential end to the fighting, with talks set to start when Donald Trump takes power?
I think so, but not yet. I mean, but Putin's got absolutely no reason for wanting to stop his war at the moment. He's still getting enough money in to keep it going, and he still thinks he's winning on the Eastern Front. So I don't think that we're going to see a change just yet.
Glenn Grant, thank you for joining us. Also, thank you, Gilbert Doctorow.